Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel, where today I want to talk about what to expect and what's not really covered in the nuances when you're cutting compulsions and avoidance behaviors and self-reassurance, or really any bad habit you've been doing for a long time, but specifically those deeply held rigid belief systems tied in with those behaviors, the compulsions, the avoidance behaviors, a lot of the self-reassurance. Yes, a lot of automatic rumination is happening, but a lot of people will see something, have that automatic rumination, and then they're spending all this time in their mind trying to solve that, the mental solving. You actually can stop that over time. What to expect, what it looks like, what people have told me working with thousands of different people between one-to-one coaching, YouTube messages, Instagram, TikToks, all the webinars over the years, what I experienced myself. Before I go any further, please subscribe, reach out, hit that like button down below, and please let us know what you think. Please come in. You do not have to sit in silence anymore. We work all over the world 24/7. Our response time is basically unmatched. There is no waiting. We will get you in quickly and efficiently. There is no introductory calls, and we will get the ball rolling when it comes to helping you with OCD and anxiety recovery. Now, the chances are most people who are coming in have been stuck for a long time. It's a little bit different when I first started coaching and the YouTube channel only had 1,000 or 2,000 subs and not 25,000. I remember when the Facebook group was less than 5,000 people. Now it's coming up on 25,000. The community is just much, much, much bigger and it's steamrolling. But, back in the day, people would come in, they would have no idea what the books were on the reading list for the most part. And they've been stuck for a long time. Now, because there's so much information, I've had people come in and said, my OCD journey started 2 weeks ago. I had someone say it to me one time last year. I've been stuck, I think it was for 9 days. I said, oh, with this new theme. They said, no, in total. I'm like, wow. But even when you've only been stuck chronically for 9 days, you didn't just go from someone with no mild OCD to just complete chronic OCD. That does not happen. You have an extended period of time with mild, very small mild, and it builds up. Worse mild than severe. Some people just go mild and environmental action happens and then chronic severe overnight. So these behaviors and these avoidance behaviors and these self-reassurance and tactics and mantras and things you've been doing have been there for a very long time for the most part. When I look back at my body dysmorphia compulsions, they had been there since my mid-teens. And when I really started to get rid of them, I was in my low 30s. So coming up with almost 20 years of doing these behaviors, progressively getting worse over a long period of time. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifics of what those behaviors are, but I do want to tell you the realistic perspective on what it took for me with a very stubborn mentality and even most people. So let's just arbitrarily break down all the people I work with into a pool of 100 different people. Maybe 10 or less, probably 5 or less, will get all their compulsions and avoidance behaviors gone in under 12 months. Under 10, typically under 5. You'll have about 60 to 70 that will get them gone in 1 to 2 years. And then you'll probably have 50 that will get them gone. The other 40 will never get rid of them. And then the 50 that get them gone 2 years, they might not sustain that long term. So a large portion of that 50 will now join the other 40 who will never get rid of them. So maybe 50+% of people will never stop doing compulsions, avoidance behaviors, sometimes 75. It's not that there's a treatment-resistant OCD. I've never met the case. It's just because the withdrawal symptoms are so severe. I've worked with numerous people that have dealt with every kind of serious addiction, every type of hard drug that you can imagine, plus alcoholism, plus extreme benzo usage for decades. I work with people who've been on benzos for 20 years. High milligrams, 2 Xanax bars a day. Extreme dosages of alcohol. Drinking think about a handle of vodka every day of their life. I mean, these people obviously have horrendous withdrawal symptoms from their drug or alcohol choice. And many of them have told me, and I quote, I've heard this a lot more than once, that withdrawing from, say, not venting to their husband felt just as shit as cutting those drugs in some ways. The reason why I'm telling you that, and a lot of you know this because you'll try this, okay, look, this is the year, I'm going to make these changes. Then the symptoms get so severe, especially if you've been in the cycle. Like for myself, I would try, quit, try, quit, try, quit. And it would be like this. The gap between cutting the compulsion and redoing it It'd be like, try, quit, try, quit, try, quit, try, quit. And eventually they were lined up with each other. And there would be a day or two before I would do these major compulsions again. Then they got down to every day, like it is for most people. And then there was no relief. And I was just chronically stuck with a baseline 5 to 8 of severe anxiety 24/7. And then when I cut those and I finally made the stand, I felt so physically ill. I had extreme blurry vision, extreme depersonalization, derealization. I had the shits out of this world. I had such terrible IBS. Then I would go to extreme constipation, but primarily IBS, but I did have some bouts of constipation. I had jitteriness. I never had physical shaking like some people, but I felt like I was being electrocuted. So, and that lasted for months. Now I had different periods where I cut some compulsions, have to go through that, feel good for a little bit, cut some compulsions and go through. But when I finally made the stand about 2.5 years in after meeting Rob for my first one-to-one, and I said, I will never perform another compulsion ever again as long as I shall live. At least I'm going to try to. Not in the sense of if I do one, I'm a terrible person, I don't want to be here anymore. But I had to take that resolve with the compassion if I slipped, which I am a human. When I finally did that is when I really started to see some progress. And like behavioral progress, but that's when my physical symptoms went shoot. And that is when I was freaking the fuck out. I mean, I felt like I had a log in the back of my throat from the amount of tension in my neck. My joints were aching. I was having tendonitis problems. My anger was off the charts. I was irritable. I felt like I was literally withdrawing from an extreme drug. And someone who has an extreme drug addiction might watch me say this and say, what are you talking about? There's no way it compares. It does. It absolutely does. And I have had numerous people tell me, not in the comparing sense, that it's actually worse. And that is why so many people do not get better, is because sitting down and understanding your belief systems to a point, you could say, okay, I could see how I would really not like that, but I'm going to have to try. But then you keep engaging in these behaviors over and over and over again, and it just drives that cycle. And when you finally make the stand to stop, it feels like you're standing on the edge of a cliff and someone is pushing you off that cliff with a sword, like the plank in Pirates of the Caribbean, and you're so close to falling into this ocean or off this cliff. My heart, dun, 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 dun. And I had to wear that everywhere. I had to take it day by day. Some people might not have it that severe, but most people do. 9 to 9.5 of the 10 sufferers when they make the extreme stand to cut compulsions, the extreme stand to cut avoidance behaviors, for the most part, with some slip up, but still in the main goal of none. There is no such thing. You hear people, oh, you can recover by doing some compulsions. This is nonsense. This is childish talk. That's like saying you can recover from alcoholism by drinking some alcohol. If you are an alcoholic, there's one definition of sobriety, and that is no intake of alcohol. If you struggle with drug addiction, there's one definition of recovery. That is no drug. Zero, zilch. I know a lot of people nowadays don't want to hear these realities, but this is just common sense. Now, common sense isn't that common anymore, so I call it uncommon sense, but you probably want to adopt some common sense. And that is the reality of it. And there's no time frame when you're going to feel that way. When I cut adult websites, I felt pretty shitty for 12 months. For 12 months. When I cut my body dysmorphia compulsions, I felt like I was manic. I felt schizophrenically manic. I had no idea how the human body could handle that much emotional turmoil. I would show up places and be like, I don't know how I'm going to make it 2 minutes because my symptoms are so severe. So that is what to expect. That is the reality. There's no time frame for how long that will last. You got to take it day by day for a couple months. Really, what can I do today to make sure I don't fall back? You can push through. This is so important. Please don't give up. We can help you. There is hope. Phil@OCDrecovery.com. Please reach out. Remember, we get everyone in around the world as fast as we can. We have the WhatsApp support groups, which is a lot of fun. 20, 30, 40 hours a month of free content goes in there between voice notes and videos that you don't get access to anywhere else. Hope to hear from you soon. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.